we know how clothes work on Earth, but what about in space? Okay, it looks like you are going to solve that problem. Why don't you tell us about what you're doing here?
Absolutely, Ken. So thank you so much. So we're building an autonomous microgravity lab that will take clients to space to help them with product development and R&D. For example, imagine for 10 years from now when space travel is normal for people, right? You're not going to be wearing your skinny jeans, you're not going to be wearing your tight, sports shoes. I'm not going to give off names today, yeah. But the thing is, your body fluids will flux and they will react differently from a gravity to, in comparison to a microgravity environment. But there is no way to simulate or emulate product development for microgravity here on Earth. So we're democratizing space so that product developers such as apparel, consumer electronics, or civil engineering can test their products affordably and with low cost and at ease in space environments. That's what we're trying to do.
What makes it neat is you're pretty agnostic to the form it takes in terms of whether it's low Earth, medium Earth, whatever, right?
Absolutely. So what we're building right now is not a satellite. We're building an experiment lab that sits inside of a satellite bus. So wherever the satellite takes us, we could basically go to that elevation.
And so do you have customers that are interested in this?
We do, but I'm not going to talk about them today. We're under NDA, but we have. So I come from an advertising and creative background, so that's why my former clients are very interested in the opportunity to space. There's a lot happening on Earth, but for product development, basically a lot of the companies have basically reached the limit of their innovation. So if we open up space, that's a totally new paradigm that they're looking at right now.
And one of the cool things about this is you're a startup, but you're also from an established company, right?
Yes, totally. So our parent company, Innovative Space Carrier, is Japan's premier reusable rocket company. We don't have a rocket, developed already, it's not flying yet, right? But we're actually ahead of the curve, and we actually understand what it is to go to space. We actually started some business for pre-registration for space travel. We actually have 9,000 people signed up. The majority are women.
Very interesting. Can you talk to that demographic? That's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, we're not building an autonomous microgravity lab just out of the blue, just based on our imagination. I'm taking evidence that there are people, 9,000 of them, that are actually very interested in going to space, and those are normal people in their 40s, right? The majority, I would say the median is in the 40s, right? The majority of women, right, that have no space background, right? And the majority of people are just like, we're interested in going to space. We want to, peer out a big window, and we want to wear normal clothes, and we just want to go there without having to be, burdened with wearing an astronaut suit, right? This is our solution.
It's interesting, and so the idea is that you get the data back from these, and scientists can apply that.
Absolutely. So the thing is, I think the secret sauce to making this better is sharing the data with our clients. And I'm very, very sure once we start business, 5 to 10 years from now, with all the data, we'll be able to replicate a microgravity environment on Earth. So that would save the hassle of being on a rocket and have to going up to space on a satellite bus or rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically you can kind of compensate for the data because you know what it is, so you just...
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, launches are not 100% perfect, right? They could be affected by weather, right? And they, there could be some, unfortunate stuff happening to, like rockets. Even if they go up to orbit, they might miss an orbit as well, right? And the thing is, if there's more demand going up to space is going to be crowded, so you might as well do a lot of R&D and product development on Earth. So to get there, we need all the data, and that's what we're after.
Well, and who knows where this will take us? I know the Apollo brought us Tang, so...
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so, and one of the reasons I'm here at, Ken, you asked this question, off camera, but one of the reasons I'm here at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, is that the consumer is the end client for space, right? It's a lot of civil, it's a lot of government, it's a lot of business right now, right? But if we don't democratize space up to consumers, right, space will never be near, right? And we're saying space is the final frontier, right? As Star Trek would say, right? It is the final frontier, but we're still far. That's why we want to, close the gap with this.
Excellent. Okay, I wish you luck.
All right, thank you so much, Ken. It's a pleasure.